Hi there, YouTube. How are y'all doing today? I'm just gonna whisper my way through this whole review. Okay, I'm not, but hi. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. I am Taylor. This week's trade paperback review, it's a loose thing. I'm just trying to review a volume of ongoing series or collected graphic novels or something every week. Whatever. This one is Seven to Eternity, Volume 1 by Rick Remender, art by Jerome Opeña, coloring by Matt Hollingsworth, and lettering by Russ Wooten. Yeah. I thought about trying to whisper my way through this whole thing, like I sort of just said. I'm not going to, because that would probably be very annoying for both myself and for y'all. And no one watches these as it is, so I'm not going to, limit that even further. I'm not going to give this one away either, so if that's what you're watching for, sorry. The reason I'm not going to is because I want to reread this when the series is complete. It's not quite finished yet. I think the plan is for the entire series to wrap up this June, although I would not be surprised if it took a little longer because Opeña's artwork is very detailed and very dense and very intricate, and I think it takes them a good while to get these issues kind of illustrated, so I think they're probably a little bit behind schedule. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Anyway, so I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to dive on into the review. I know I sort of plopped y'all into the middle of this, but that's kind of how this book works. You sort of get plopped into the middle of an existing world, an existing story, and these characters, the main character, Adam Osiris, names are hard, especially made-up names. Osiris is the son of a Mozak named Zeb, who has fled. Words are hard. From the god of whispers, the Mud King, this evil-looking fella on the front. And say, yeah, a little bit of spoilers here because I think I have to on this one. It's a dense read, and each issue sort of just plops you into the middle of stuff, and there's a page of sort of exposition at the beginning that sort of helps explain things, but it's a slow build, and you will, at least if you're anything like me, you're going to spend a good half of this read kind of confused and kind of lost. But give it a chance if you like it. I think it's worth digging into. It's not a quick read. I mean, for being a comic, it's fairly dense. I know I used that word before, but it fits. The panels there's a lot of panels per page. There's a lot of relatively high amount of dialogue and wordplay and everything else per page. There are some giant splash pages and some great art and some fantastic pieces of art throughout this. But it's a thick story. And it kind of sort of feels like you're reading it through pea soup at first. But yeah, anyways, just to get back to the main thing. Okay, there's a stoic protagonist, Adam Osiris, who happens to be dying. You find that out right away, and is trying to save his family from the rule of the Mud King. These are outsiders. They've fled the Mud King in the past, and their past comes catching up to them, which, as the past tends to do. And so Adam's trying to make a few impossible choices throughout this to save his family and save everything else. The thing with the Mud King is he'll make an offer, and if you listen to his offer, you have to basically accept it, and that lets him into your head, and he can whisper in your head, and that's sort of the whole premise of the Mud King. He's not actually even the king; he's just sort of the power behind the throne of the kingdom of Zal, and it's you learn all this as you kind of go, and I'm not going to spoil a whole lot more because there are some interesting things that happen here, and there's some interesting ideas and stuff, and some that I don't want to spoil. So that's just, I think, maybe enough to give you a tease as to what's going on in this book. Yeah, the whole thing is to try to overthrow the Mud King, as one will. If there's an evil ruler, you got to take him down, right? Or you just sit complacent like most of the world does, and don't do anything. So impossible choices, and most of the world is pretty happy to not do anything, and most of the world is complacent because the Mud King's been whispering in his head. One of the things that also complicates things is you can't kill the Mud King, because if you kill the Mud King, you kill everyone whose head he's in. So there's that. there are some influences in this that I think are pretty apparent. Tolkien, for one, the stoic kind of lost, sad protagonist that has forced to make a whole lot of impossible choices. Kind of, good old what's his face, Bilbo Baggins, and the weakening protagonist that gets further and further, closer and closer to death the more he travels, and closer to giving in to evil choices. There's that, but also. It's a weird book, and it's a weird fiction, and I think it kind of belongs in the category of like new weird fiction, which is a thing. Like the author of such books is like the author are most like words. Holy crap, they're hard today. Okay, weird fiction. It's a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre of science fiction, fantasy, whatever. It's a blending of sci-fi and fantasy. It's not quite steampunk. But there's these authors that like just make weird ass books. China Miéville is the first one that comes to mind, and the Baz Log trilogy, quadrilogy. I can't remember how many books there are, but it's just a strange combination of fantasy and sci-fi where the normal quote unquote rules don't exist, and it's like a thick. They're usually pretty thick, pretty dense worlds that are just kind of out there, and that's this. This is just kind of out there. It's its own world. It doesn't. It does have all these influences. It is just kind of odd, in a good way. I think it makes you think, and like it touches on a lot of societal issues throughout here. But it's not like there's no easy answers in this one right now, and I don't know if there will be. And I know this review is all over the map, but this book is kind of all over the map, and I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if I love it. But I don't hate it. But I don't know if I can recommend it. It sort of depends on what you like reading. It's a fantasy sci-fi. It's gorgeous. Like the art by Jerome Opeña is fantastic, and the coloring by Matt Hollingsworth is like top notch and moody and helps really set the stage. The lettering by Russ Wooten is inobtrusive and fine. Very easy to read that way. Character design a little bit tricky because some of the characters kind of tend to look alike, and the way that they're introduced isn't always clear. But that said, I mean it's one of the best looking books I've seen in a while. As far as like if you're into like heavily detailed hyperrealism, I have a lot of different art styles I enjoy, but this is you get some pretty dense. Yeah, see, dense. I've said that's the word of the review. You get some pretty highly detailed illustrations throughout here and stuff. Mostly pretty clear illustration-wise. It's just the story itself is not always that clear. So, yeah. If you've made it this far, bully on you, because I don't know if I would have watching this rambling mess. And sort of the book is kind of a rambling mess. I know Rick Remender has a plan for it all. I know, like, I'm sure he's got like a whiteboard or a digital version of it where it's all intricately plotted, and there's reasons for everything, and there's notes and research and backstory and everything else. He just doesn't let the audience know all that right away, and so it makes it a little hard to get into at first. It really does, but I think it's worth the effort, and I think it can be like by the end of this, I felt like it was a satisfying read. It's just like it was a slog at first, to be honest. And so I want to read the next couple volumes, and I want to read it all as an omnibus. I'm hoping they put it together as a collected thing. I have a feeling they will. But until then, I'm going to hold on to this because I think I might need to like reference this again while reading the future trades. If it does come out with an omnibus, I might give this away as a prize in the future or as a giveaway in the future, just because I like doing it, and I think people like getting some books from me. So yeah, to wrap it all up, incoherent babbling mess of a review of a semi-incoherent mess of a book. That's worth it. I liked it. I will reread this, and I think it's going to take at least a reread or two to really figure out what the hell's going on. The plot itself actually isn't that complex. It's just the way the story's told is, it's purposely hiding things. And so it's an interesting choice, but it tends to be, I think, Rick Remender's way to go about it. If you liked his run on Uncanny X-Force, which I really enjoyed. You'll probably like this. If you like this first couple arcs of Black Science, you'll probably like this. I need to reread Black Science as well. Okay, yeah, this is not going to be my finest hour, but I'm doing this all in one take. I'm not going to redo it because it is what it is. Internet. How are you today? Yeah. 7 to Eternity. The God of Whispers. Maybe the God of Whispers has whispered in my ear and I just don't know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. Distinct possibility. Give it a whirl. It's fairly cheap. It was $9 on Amazon. I know Amazon's the devil, but you can probably find it used or at your LCS for, not a ton of money. So that's all I got today, folks. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick shirts are available on my site. I got some new ones up on there. TaylorWinder.com. I got some other stuff on there too. Anything you buy really helps support the channel. Also, please hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell. I promise I'll make less rambly crap in the future. I probably won't. It'll probably be just as rambly. It probably depends upon the book. I don't know. Maybe rambly books call for rambly reviews. All right. Yeah, that's all I got. Don't be a dick. Try not to be. Also, life. It's fine. See ya.